from the Global School Alliance to everyone involved in the important and inclusive world of global education. I always start by saying global educators are the most important people in the world. And what you're doing every day to bring the world into your classrooms to ensure that young people are having those incredibly life-changing experiences is something all of us at the Global School Alliance are very proud of. Hello to everyone in the room. Hello to everyone joining us on the live stream. And we thought it's incredibly appropriate that welcome is from the young people of the great Kingsford Community School who are hosting us today. So a warm welcome to you all from the Global Student Council of Kingsford Community School.
Good afternoon all. Welcome to Kingsford. We are a very diverse school where we have about 70 languages spoken in our community. We cannot show them all to you, but what we have here are our global ambassadors who normally welcome all our visitors in the languages that we can't welcome you. So we are very proud of these students, and we teach them to take pride in their culture, their background, and utilize their first language skills where possible. So if you just go around, sorry. Okay. I've got enough space. So Daniela, it's down to you. Okay, thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Daniela and I'm the head girl of Kingsford Community School. I'm of Lithuanian and Ukrainian heritage and I would like to greet you in my home language, Russian. Добро пожаловать в школу Kingsford.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nana. I am from Ghana, and I would like to greet you in Twi, Akwaba Air Kingsford Community School.
Hello, my name is Katrina. I'm from Lithuania, and I would like to greet you in Lithuanian. Sveiki atvykę į Kingsford mokyklą.
Hello, my name is Teza. I'm from Burma, and I would like to greet you in Burmese. Kingsford Gojozawade.
Hello, my name is Alicia. I'm from Portugal, and I'd like to greet in Portuguese. Bem-vindo ao comentário de Kingsford.
Hello, my name is Daniel. I'm from Romania, and I would like to greet you in Romanian. Bine ați venit la Școala Comunitară Kingsford.
Hello, my name is Pooja and I'm from Sudan and I'd like to greet you in Arabic. Ahlan in Kingsford Community School.
Good afternoon. My name is George. I am from Ukraine and I would like to greet you on Ukrainian. Ласкаво просимо до Kingsford School Community.
Good afternoon. My name is Shipipa. I'm from Uganda and I'd like to greet you in Uganda. Isani Kokubalaba at Kingsford Community School.
Hello, my name is Anthony. I'm from the Philippines and I'd like to greet you in Tagalog. Alagaim Pangdatim sa Kingsford Community School.
Hello, my name is Angelina. I'm from Ukraine and I'm going to greet you in Russian. Добро пожаловать в громадскую школу Kingsford.
Good afternoon. My name is Madansh. I'm from India and I would like to greet you in German. Herzlich willkommen zu Kingsford Schule.
Hello, my name is Akmaros. I'm from India. I will greet you in my language Malayalam. Kingsford Community School ki swagatam.
Hello, my name is Guali. I'm from Pakistan. I would like to greet you in my language. Kingsford School mein swagat.
Good afternoon. My name is Abigail. I'm from Ivory Coast and I would like to greet you in French. Bienvenue à l'école communautaire de Kingsford.
Good evening. My name is Ridiman. I'm from India and I would like to greet you in Hindi. Kingsford Community School mein aapka swagat hai.
Hello, my name is Abigail. I come from Nigeria and I'd like to greet you in British Sign Language.
Hello, my name is Stefan. I'm head boy Kingsford and I'm from Ghana. I'd like to greet you in Twi, Kingsford Sakwaba.
Wow, follow that. That was fantastic. A big thank you to the wonderful Global Student Councillors. It's an honour and a privilege for the Global School Alliance to be working with you all, and a big thank you, and we look forward to welcoming you to Liverpool in 2024. So a big thank you from us all.
Thank you.
That was brilliant. Really thank you. And just to say, this is why we love Kingsford Community School. It has something incredibly special at its heart and its ethos. And one of the most inspirational head teachers we've ever worked with is with us today, the wonderful Joan Daylon, who will be welcoming you all in the room and live stream about her own unique vision for the power of partnerships, bringing communities together. Over to you, Joan.
Good evening, everyone, and a very, very warm welcome to Kingsford Community School and our London Borough of Newham. And apart from speaking English and the languages that the young people spoke to you about, every child at Kingsford studies Mandarin, so they can all speak Chinese as well. And I'd like to thank you, John, for the lovely welcome and for giving us the opportunity to host this evening's event. And as far as present circumstances will allow, I think it's important that I share with you how proud Kingsford Community School is to be part of this celebration of global partnership in education. I'm going to speak more about how we work and the work that we've done in global education and how this has been of a huge benefit to all of the young people who attend this school. However, for the time being, I just would like to welcome everyone who's here this evening, welcome all of the Global School Alliance participants to the London Borough of Newham and express how proud we are to be hosting this event. As a school, we always strive to instill in our young people an awareness of their status as global citizens. And as such, international work is at the heart of our educational philosophy. In a city and borough as diverse as ours, we have learned that an emphasis on global collaboration better equips our young people to understand, engage with, and respect the diversity of the world around them and learn about how they can make a contribution to that. We live in a society and an educational system which is coming to recognise not just the vast panoply of cultures which make up our world, but the immeasurable value there is in understanding and celebrating these cultures. I believe that the young people at Kingsford benefit a great deal from the type of provision that the Global School Alliance provides access to. This aspect is one which has formed a key pillar of my own personal educational philosophy at Kingsford as head, and during which my enthusiasm for international education has always been underpinned as part of my professional journey. As the head of Kingsford, I firmly believe that it is my duty to bring elements of the wider world into Kingsford every day to ensure that no young person is ever excluded from gaining experiences or opportunities that open their mind to the importance of global citizenship. In a borough as diverse as Newham, where we also have one of the youngest populations in Western Europe, and where chances for social mobility can actually sometimes be not as accessible as it is to others. I think that in order to raise aspirations amongst young people, we have had to think of diverse ways of doing this, because sometimes aspirations for the young people who come from areas such as ours have been low. And therefore it's crucial that schools go the extra mile to provide a fully rounded education for the young people in our care, one which covers both the curriculum necessary to achieve the grades required to succeed, but also to provide them with the soft skills and cultural capital that will allow them to grow and make successes of themselves in the wider world. And this is where the work of the Global School Alliance comes in. The programme that the GSA provides fully informs, supports and enhances the international ethos that we have embedded throughout the Kingsford curriculum. This has been at the core of the school's philosophy since we opened 23 years ago. Indeed, in our first years of existence, we became the first school in the UK to introduce Mandarin lessons for all on the mainstream curriculum. By 2004, in those days, we had specialist colleges. We became a specialist language college. And 2007, we were first accredited with awards that recognised the international work we were doing. We also, in 2007, became the first Confucius classroom for London and the South East. And this helped promote the teaching of Mandarin, not only in our own school, but in other schools across the region. Kingsford was also recognised as being the best Confucius classroom in the world by the Chinese government, and we are affiliated to the UCL's Confucius Institute and the CLEC. My partner, Leo Chun-Lei, who is the Director of Global Partnerships in our school, will tell you more about this work. But essentially, Kingsford pupils are encouraged to think outside the walls of their community, to aim and attain high, and to be socially and internationally conscious. It is Kingsford's ambition to instill a global dimension into every aspect of the curriculum and learning experience of our young people. Pupils are closely involved in international work as part of their learning, whether that may be through work experience, such as in countries including France, Spain, Ghana, and China, learning about development in West Africa, looking at health issues in science with partner schools in South Africa, or supporting charities to help orphans in Uganda. We also have wonderful relationships with schools right across our nearest neighbours in the EU. And I was really pleased to see a colleague. We were both at an EU conference last week. We just met randomly last week, and to see that she's here today. And we have placed a huge importance on this aspect of learning, as we believe it is profoundly important in developing international understanding and awareness where it is best placed, and that is in the hearts and minds of our young people. Whilst we're undoubtedly in a world that is far more well connected than ever, and in which geographical distance presents less and less of a barrier, factors such as class and economic status continue to place walls around young people from areas such as ours. And this is one of the reasons why a global education is so important to our pupils. Building connections helps to open our children's eyes, not only to the huge breadth of diversity in the world, but also the ways in which people across the world are the same, and to open their minds to new ways of learning and collaborating. These ways of learning and this thirst for collaboration and partnership will be essential in building the world of tomorrow, the world in which our young people will live. The Global School Alliance, I know, provides an invaluable and supportive framework for Kingsford's languages and international work, and I'm sure it will continue to reflect our global outlook for many years to come. I know that this Global School Alliance can also offer potentially life-changing opportunities for young people. It is essential that the values of Kingsford, and indeed of all schools, reflect a proactive, outward-looking ethos in order to allow equity and diversity to flourish evermore. May I end with an expression of our profound appreciation and gratitude on behalf of governors, staff and pupils to Tom, the head of the Global School Alliance. I must also say to you, Mr. Rolfe, John Rolfe MBE, who you have been a beacon for the work that our school has done over the years, and you've done so much to support the development of the school in the role that we have and the experience that we've had in global education. And we very, very much look forward to the next stages of development that we will have as a school through the Global School Alliance. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Joan. The pleasure and privilege is all very much ours, but a big thank you to everyone at your wonderful and very inspirational school. And can we have a few words from the assistant head teacher of wonderful Kingsford community? Leo has brought invaluable insight and invaluable connections to developing your global outlook. Over to you, Leo.
Ladies and gentlemen, other esteemed educationalists and advocates for international learning, very good afternoon. And it's a privilege to be here to share a little bit of thoughts and other implementations in terms of global citizenship education and in Kingsford Community School as an international school, and especially in the Mandarin teaching and learning and our partnerships with China particularly. Okay, my presentation might be a little bit boring, you might feel sleepy, but I'm going to invite you to do something. If you can just turn around, look at the people around you with these questions. Don't worry, you don't need to answer my questions. Okay? Okay. Where are we from? And where are we now? Where are we going? And as educators, where would you want other young people to go in the future? And how can we contribute to their personal development and their future success? And it's easy to see that all of the questions are linked with global learning. But what types of global footprint you would like the young people to leave? And in today's age, being global is not an option, and it is a necessity. We're not just living in our own town, our cities and countries as a citizens. We are citizens of the world. And it is really important for our young people to know this, because our young people are stepping into the future, which is more interconnected and interdependent than ever. So this is going to be something that I really would like to share a little bit with you today. And we want our young people to become more effective global citizens and to be ready to play their part for tomorrow and today and tomorrow's world. So the students need to have a broader and global perspectives and a deep understanding about the different cultures, languages, and global issues. So this is, we think this is really, really important for us. And so this knowledge for our students can not only enrich their learning experiences, but also can help them to become more compassionate and become successful in their future. Okay. And so the vision of Kingsford globalization and education is we would like our students. Sorry, it's a little bit faster than I'm talking. Okay, so we would like all our students to be in this world-class environment, which can shape our students' global perspectives, can then nurture students with cultural competence, and for every single student, and we try our best to support our students, because we believe that all the students' potential to achieve is limitless. And at a school and as teachers, we are supposed to provide them with all the tools they need to strive and excel as more effective global citizens. So we empower all of the students and then the young people in the future to become more effective global citizens. And also we strengthen the students, their intercultural understanding, critical thinking, and collaboration skills through a very internationalized curriculum. So that's why in our school, and then we do in every single subject, we do check that, and then there is a international dimension, and also in each linear and subject, we've got an international link to coordinate this. Okay. And guided by this vision, and then if you look at the map of Kingsford's Chinese journey, since the beginning 2000, we become the first one in the country to introduce, like what Mr. Lance introduced. And we become the first school to introduce the Mandarin lessons for all classrooms. For every important piece, we've got really, really strong and collaboration together with our Chinese partners. And it's through the interaction, through discussion, through the ideas we discussed, and we've got, and then this. So first of all, we would like to provide our students a really internationalized curriculum, because we are a secondary school, and then we do our best to support all our feed schools, spoke schools as well. And also working with our Chinese partners, and in terms of the curriculum for K-2, and to support all our more than 15 something schools and to develop their curriculum to make sure the curriculum is continuous, is consistent, and is further integrated. And then when students are in our school, we've got a 5-year learning journey map to support the students. So you can clearly see all the students, what are the topics, apart from their knowledge, what kind of transferable skills we would like our students to develop, and what kind of practice we will allow students to develop, how to support the student to do that, and how to help the student to identify and then their culture, competence, and practice on that. this is really important, and we'll keep it very, we do our best to keep it consistent. And of course, we do not stop here. We're a secondary school. We also try our best to support other students who graduate from secondary school, and then they continue their Mandarin Chinese learning journey and in A-level school. And then we'll make sure in the curriculum and everything got connected in a smooth way to help the student to do a smooth transition. This is the Mandarin classes. You can see how engaged the students are in their Mandarin lessons. Okay, they're able to answer the questions to practice what they've learned. And then they're really, and even kneel down to the teachers to give them the tasks to do. And students quite enjoy learning Mandarin here. And then apart from our normal classroom, Mandarin classroom, we also have enrichment the lessons. And we can have lessons on the playground in the restaurant, and also we have all cultural celebration activities to support students to engage during the time students can explore as much as possible. And then after doing the practice, students they feel a little bit confident. It's our responsibility working together with the partnerships to create the more platforms of students to practice what they've learned, to consolidate what they've learned, and to further develop themselves. That's why we've got the Mandarin competition. Kingsford is the only school in this country every single year we come to the one of the top 3 schools. And you can clearly see Mr. John Roth is used to remember this picture, and he gave the students the award. Okay. And then we do not stop here. And then after students are being more confident, they will have to practice it more. And then we start to work again with other international partnerships, and then to support the students to have intensive study visit. They can meet their peers in China, for example, and then they can communicate with them. And not only in secondary school to secondary school, and secondary to university as well. I think we've got colleagues at the back that are collect partnership teachers at Beijing normal universities come here to support our students and to enrich their learning experience in the Mandarin classroom as well. And also we've got VIPs that every one of you come here and you brought a lot of creative ideas, innovative ideas for us and to embed in our curriculum from now on, which is really, really important. And also our students, we've got lots of exchange programs to support young people. They even do their work experience in China to teach the students there. And also they pick up and they learn intensively in terms of their Mandarin learning. And after that, you can see the students, they've got their confidence, they will like to communicate with people, they're open. So after the competition, students invited by the Minister of Education, for example, and to have a speech publicly and develop their confidence. And also the students, they've invited to perform somewhere. This is little by little students build up their personal development, their openness, and then their confidence. And then they got scholarship. And then we do help the students, not only in secondary school, A-level schools, even university students who graduate as alumni from Kingsford, and then we help them to get scholarship to China. So as you can see, it's a long journey from primary all the way to university. And even after university, when the students, they finish the university, we invite them to come back to Kingsford and to coach other students, current students. So this is just one of the examples. Can you just imagine that during the 5 years, only focus on these 5 years, and how important a role that we are playing of young people's growth and personal development. We help them from 11 years old all the way. They've got their offer from university, and then through the scholarship, they're going to China, staying 1 year, and then after coming back, they started to continue their journey in their university. Okay. On reflecting and it will reflect upon my journey and our journey and where we stand now, and I am reminded of a quite old Chinese proverb: is 千里之行，始于足下, which is you've got you've got a journey of 1,000 miles, which begins from a single step. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I sincerely invite all of you and to take our steps, and however small, and let's shape, let's work together to forge and then the partnerships, which is really, really important, we believe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leo. Again, thank you everyone at Kingsford Community School, and many congratulations on your long-term success. And Alison, I think We also contribute to the.
We have to learn.
Alison did amazing resources around Mandarin. That was brilliant. Thank you so much. We thought we'd give you a quick overview of the work of the Global School Alliance. We hope everyone has joined. It's free to join this amazing community of educators, and actually brings together what we always say are the most important people in the world. Educators who are bringing the world into their classrooms, sharing, celebrating, inspiring young people with that global vision. So a quick overview, we have got a wonderful platform that you can join to exchange projects, partners, really share, a bit like eTwinning, some fantastic resources there, and ensure that the work you're doing in your school is shared, is celebrated globally as well. So lots of resources on there. We presently have over 110 countries represented and over 10,000 educators. So again, a big thank you to those wonderful educators that have embraced the Alliance. We work extensively with school leaders across the UK and globally, some testimonials there. And it's great to have Lichfield Cathedral School mentioned, because we have got Dr. Eric Allen, whose partner school is Lichfield. So we are going to visit them tomorrow. And again, a big thank you to global leaders who are really committed to this work. Sorry. No. In control of it. Okay. Just one back, just to highlight that we would be delighted to have everyone join. There's an awards programme, again, a very intuitive, supportive way to really enrich, embed that global ethos in the school. We're delighted to be working with thousands of schools on embedding that global journey, because we really believe in that, the power, the essential power of partnership with authentic learning experiences. So a big part of our work is to put the importance of that face-to-face engagement, and we would be delighted to have a call with you to develop your own exciting and impactful global journey. And do share this. You'll notice there's lots of photos, camera phones going, because we really want to demonstrate this is the most important community in the world. Educators who are bringing the world into their classroom, who are sharing this fantastic work. So do get involved. If anyone's particularly interested as well in becoming an ambassador, and great to have some ambassadors with us. Hello, Lisa, and others, who are doing some fantastic work. So it's all there at the www. And let's stay in touch with everyone, because the work you're doing is really, really fantastic. Okay, thank you for that. And also, this is a whole school journey. And I think, as Joan and Leo demonstrated, this is very much about ensuring that global activity is a recognised, central, celebrated part of your school ethos. So all of us at the Global School Alliance would be delighted to support that and facilitate those face-to-face exchanges. Now, what we're particularly excited about is we do work now in over 110 countries with thousands of schools. Unfortunately, they couldn't all be with us today, but a big hello to those joining us via the live stream. So we brought together three amazing schools from the Philippines, from Tunisia and Turkey, that we hope demonstrates that shared commitment to the importance of global work.
This partnership with Global School Alliance has significantly enhanced the learning opportunities of our students, particularly in our joint projects.
That's right. Actually, it also enhanced their global perspective among our learners, and aside from that, it turns out fostering their global competitiveness.
I'm Dr. Francisca T. Uy, the school president of PAO Exponential Global Academy Foundation Incorporated. And I would like to say that PIGAFE is very blessed to be part of this very prestigious and reputable organization. God bless us all. I'm excited to start my new project to move this product.
What does it mean to be global-minded? For me, it means being a citizen of the world, as well as being the citizen of the country I was born in. This difference is not a reason to be different. It unites us. It's a way to enrich us, thanks to the diversity it offers. I work with 127 countries and 5,000 plus schools and 8,200 educators. This is via the Global School Alliance. And what I have learned is that what unites us is more than what divides us. I've learned that we are all a crew and no one is a passenger. So it's a global responsibility to give our young learners quality education that will open their minds and that will build trust and understanding. Thank you, the Global School Alliance community, and have a great conference.
Hello to everyone at the conference. It's Mehmet. I'm an English teacher. I've been working at Bahçeşehir College in Turkey, which is a private school that has 143 campuses all around Turkey. I've been on this platform for a while, and it didn't take me long to be like that. It's got everything what it takes to bring all the students and teachers together. And I wish all the students and teachers happy and successful year.
Nurtures personal respect for others wherever they live. It encourages individuals to be free. A global citizen is a person who is aware of and understands the wider world and their place in it. As a Bahçeşehir College, we deeply understand the importance of global citizenship in our school and proud to be at this platform.
A big thank you to John Michael, to Betty and Mehmet for their support for some really powerful global work. Okay, as you can see from the videos, a huge part of our commitment is about those face-to-face connections and showing that educators are learning from their counterparts across the globe. And we're very delighted that we have an amazing global educator with us. It's his first time in the UK. This is the very first school he's visiting in the UK, so you're learning from the very best. Eric has an amazing link with Lichfield Cathedral School, so it's an early start for us tomorrow to drive up to Lichfield to visit his school. But without further ado, it's my great honour to introduce the Director and CEO of Grace Life International School in Ghana, Dr. Eric Annan.
Thank you very much, John. It's great having you all today. I'm grateful being here today and thankful to the GSA team for making it possible that I can join you all here today. Good day. I feel honored to be here today and to be called upon to deliver a speech under the theme, The Power of Educational Partnership focusing on developing global links. Indeed, education is one of the most important and valuable assets for human development and social transformation. It is the key of unlocking the potentials of every individual, fostering innovation and creativity. You still want me to be a preacher?
He's a great preacher.
It is the key to unlocking the potential of every individual. It also helps in fostering innovation and creativity, and the foundation for building a prosperous and a peaceful world. However, education cannot be achieved in isolation. It requires collaboration, cooperation, coordination, and partnership among various stakeholders such as governments, civil society, private sector, and academia, which highlights the bare need for educational partnership. We are here today because we believe in working together to achieve the common goal. My school is in Ghana, West Africa, in a rural community, about 2 hours drive from the main city, and in a small part of the globe. Yet I find myself among you all today because of the global partnership that exists between my school and the Global School Alliance. The organizations that unite passionate educationalists from around the world under the common goal of providing global learning for students by combining online collaborations and immersive experiences of which members can develop transformational international partnership and authentic learning experiences. The Global School, in its effort to develop global network, currently has its presence in over 128 countries, connected with over 8,200 educators, working with 5,000 and over schools, and spent billions of pounds to accelerate its activities to schools around the globe. It's a worthy achievement that needs an applaud for that. In order to promote the common good of schools and improve student learning, persons interested in improving the educational experiences of students, communities, families, and schools through educational partnership must agree to work together collaboratively, make decisions, and overcome various challenges that originate from cultural barriers, language, and priorities. Also, partners need to be fully committed to the attainment of the partnership goals and encourage the principles of trust, communication, and respect. One of the ways to enhance collaboration and partnership in education is to develop global links among educational institutions and organizations. Global links are strategic and sustainable relationships that aim to improve the quality and relevance of education, as well as to increase its impact and outreach. Global links can take various forms, such as joint research projects, student and faculty stages, curriculum developments, online learning platforms, and capacity building programs. According to Laurie Medina, she said, and I quote, "Building global connections nurtures an understanding and appreciation of diversity, inclusion, intercultural awareness, intercultural communication, and intercultural learning." Global links can bring many benefits to the partners involved as well as to wider society. And some of these benefits include improving the quality of education by exposing students and teachers to different perspectives, cultures, and practices while fostering critical thinking and intercultural competencies and global citizenship skills. Enhancing the relevance of education by addressing the needs and challenges of the local and global context. Providing opportunity for innovation and problem solving, as well as for sharing best practices and lessons learned. Increasing the impact and outreach of education by expanding the access and participation of diverse and marginalized groups. And finally, create networks and alliances that can amplify the voice and influence of the partners. Exploring the benefit of global links brings us to the big question, which is, what happens if young people do not have the opportunity to build global connections? Consider how this will change the way we see the world, the way we perceive and respond to global challenges, and the way we communicate with cultures other than our own. It must be noted with great importance that developing global links is not an easy task. It requires commitment, it requires trust, and mutual respect among partners. It also requires a clear vision, a common goal, and a shared strategy. Moreover, it requires effective communication, coordination, and evaluation mechanisms, which can only be achieved through a partnership. However, by adopting these strategies, educational partners can enhance the quality and impact of their partnership, as well as increase its resilience and sustainability. The power of educational partnership lies in our ability to leverage the strengths and resources of each partner and to create synergies and innovations that will not be possible otherwise. Educational partnerships can enhance the capacity and effectiveness of each partner by sharing knowledge, skills, experiences, and best practices. They can also foster a culture of mutual learning and trust by creating space and dialogues, feedbacks, and reflections. Also, educational partnership can generate positive impact beyond the partners themselves by influencing policies, practices, and attitudes in the wider educational community. There are many examples of successful educational partnerships around the world that are focused on developing global learners and have made difference in the lives of millions of learners. For instance, the Global Partnership for Education is a multi-stakeholder partnership that supports developing countries to ensure that every child receives a quality basic education. The GPE has mobilized more than 7 billion cedis since 2003 to support education plans and programs in 76 partner countries. The GPA has helped to enroll 160 million more children in schools, train 700,000 more teachers, and distributed 18 million more textbooks. Another example is the Teach for All Network, which is a global network of independent organizations that recruit and develop promising leaders to teach in high-need schools and work towards educational equity. The Teach for All network currently comprises 60 partner organizations across 6 continents, reaching over 1 million students annually. The Teach for All network enables partners to learn each other's successes and challenges and adapt to other things and also innovate their approaches to fit the local context. I know Global School Alliance is doing better and more greater, and we're hoping that it will do better than it is still doing. This example showcases how powerful the educational partnership focuses on developing global links can be when based on a shared vision, common purpose, and a mutual respect. Also, these examples demonstrate how educational partnership can contribute to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, which is to ensure inclusive and repeatable education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. In conclusion, I'd like to emphasize that educational partnerships are not only beneficial for improving the quality and reach of education within countries, but also fosters cross-cultural understanding and cooperation among countries. By focusing greatly on developing local links through partnership, I believe we can address the complex and interrelated challenges faced in the educational sector as a global community. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that by working together in partnership, we can make education a reality for everyone. Thank you for your attention.
That is fantastic. Thank you, Eric. And we very much look forward to travelling up to Lichfield tomorrow. And just to say, as Eric mentioned, at the Global School Alliance, we're very proud to work with a range of partners, a range of initiatives. We're delighted to be having this conference in Black History Month. We work closely with issues around the Sustainable Development Goals, a whole range of partners to really embed and amplify the importance of global work. A great part of the work we're very delighted to share is our Sister School programme, where we encourage schools to really have those embedded partnerships, to have some really authentic and impactful learning experiences. And one that we're delighted to share with you is Home Grange School, who have got a recent partnership with Japan, and we'd be delighted to share that with you. And we're very delighted to have Larissa from Home Grange with us. But an overview of the sister school programme follows.
Say a huge thank you to the Global School Alliance for supporting our new partnership. We are very busy completing our first projects and really looking forward to our journey.
Thank you. I'll take a bow, Larissa. Thank you for that. That was really excellent. You are the most important people. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on to another great friend for global education. We're delighted to be joined by Lord Jim Knight of Weymouth. Jim has extensive commitment, extensive insight into the importance of global education, and we're delighted that he can join us today. Okay, thanks, Jim.
Well, thanks very much, John, and thanks so much for inviting me finally to this wonderful school. I don't know where Joan's gone, but what an inspiration it is to be here, and the way it was opened up and to see the way our diversity of language and culture is something to celebrate in that way. It was just beautiful. John asked me to talk for 15 minutes. I've set a timer for 14 on my watch so that I can try and stick to the remit. Where I wanted to start was that we're living in a time of great change. And when you're living through great change, then almost the natural thing for us as humans to do is to fear that change and to fear the loss of control that goes with change. And that you then have a choice. You have a choice whether to protect what you've got and become more isolated as a result, or come together and create hope for something better out of the change that we're all going through. And what I really wanted to come and say was that schools, in my view, schools and education must be beacons of hope. You know, I regard our school system here in England as the National Hope Service. And you know, our task is to build that better future. to build a more sustainable, a more equitable future. It is more sustainable because it's more equitable, and not be isolated and not denying change. You know, the choice, if you like, you know, are we going to keep the curriculum as it always has been, as it always will be, and try and ignore everything that's going on outside? Are we going to ban the technology? Are we going to pretend that 70% of children are not on ChatGPT and you know doing their work? Or are we going to adapt and lean into it and change and work out how we're going to do it? And at a big level, you know, it's a very long time ago now, I spent 5 years as a government minister. Yeah, and you know, in this country, we're about to lean into an election, and we've got party conferences and mad politicians on our TV screens and radio and social media, wherever. But if I was back in that place again, what would I be worrying about? And you know, top of the list is climate change, that big change that is going on in our planet, and the consequences of that around drought, around famine, flooding, in turn leading to conflict. We've seen that, we've heard the voices from Ukraine, but there's plenty of other conflict also elsewhere in the world. The migration that is being led is being caused both by conflict and by that climate change. The technological change that is then wrapped in amongst all of that. You can see then the divisive populism that follows. You can see the isolationism that that's all about. That choice to try and hang on to what you got, to stop the boats, to you know, please the motorists. I don't want to sound too political, or you can have a choice to say, well, actually, let's see what we can do about those things that are causing people to flee what they know and take the risk of traveling across continents to try and make the best of the world, and take their chance. How can we help them? And for us, how can we help our young people? Our young people see all of this going on. They feel it. They have that anxiety about climate, about their own well-being. You know, in this country, since COVID, we've seen that dramatic rise in mental health problems amongst young people. They have their anxieties about what work are they going to do? What are the jobs going to be? What is their future? Where is their future? I think they can also see that the kind of the long-standing algorithm of education of work hard, do your tests, do some more tests, so you can do some more tests. So ultimately, you might be able to go to a great university and then get a career that will look after you and your family, and you can get a pension and a mortgage and everything will be lovely. They can see that that's kind of running out of road. It's more complicated. You know, I'm on my 4th career. And teachers kind of see this too, this obsession with that academic journey into university. It doesn't suit everyone. And less than 40% of people in my country go to university. And so they're losing their intrinsic motivation because they're being forced by accountability and by everything else into this sort of straitjacket of doing things a particular way and losing their vocation. And I loved hearing Joan, despite all of those pressures of the straitjacket of accountability, talking about a fully rounded curriculum, which is what we all want, wherever we are in the world, for our children. It'll be different in different contexts, but a fully rounded curriculum, a fully rounded experience of education. And our responsibility as educators, of course, is to lead the change. And we can't do it on our own. You know, there are a few just amazing, brilliant innovators who seem to be able to do it in isolation. But by and large, we need each other. We need partnership. And I think there are sort of three aspects when I thought about this to the partnership. First thing is, as educators, just show up for each other. It's a stressful business, change and leading change and not doing exactly as you're told, but finding space where the rules don't apply in order to do things slightly differently, in order to be more rounded for our children. And don't be a hero. Connect with each other, support each other, especially when it feels too hard to find the time to go and make that connection. That's the time when you really need it. That's the time when other people need you. So turn up for each other. You know, I've been privileged in my time since leaving full-time politics to do various things. I spent some time working for TES, a large company that connects people online, that connects teachers online. And we did some great work with a girls' education charity in 5 sub-Saharan African countries called CAMFED, and they're in Ghana, they're in Zambia, Zimbabwe, good test for me, Tanzania and Malawi. And we did a project in Zambia to connect teachers in rural Zambia together so that they could support each other, generate some of the resources that they need to teach a brand new curriculum that have been introduced. It's a more progressive curriculum than we have here in England, but unfortunately it was introduced without the resources, the textbooks, the teacher materials that teachers needed. So we were able to connect them, support each other across a swathe of the country in order to be able to generate that material for themselves. I'm also part of a community, the OPI community. It's lovely to see Andrea here, who's part of our community too, where we have beautiful, glorious events that my wife happens to curate and create, but the magic happens, if you like, it's a bit like a cartoon strip where you look at the individual images, but the magic of your imagination is what happens in the gutter. It's between the images that the magic happens. And between events in our community, you can see, in this case on WhatsApp, people being vulnerable. They call out for help. They don't go to each other to show off what they're doing, by and large. But a little bit, a little bit's okay. They're being vulnerable. They're looking for help. And that's what creates the magic. And that's what creates the inspiration. The second thing I was thinking about is about the young people themselves, who, as I said, I think feel anxious about all of this change and this future, and they feel out of control. And our responsibility is to empower them, is to give them things that they can control, is to give them hope. Because it's only through hope that we give them action. I've done a little bit of work with a wonderful campaign called Let's Go Zero, run by the Ashton charity, which is to encourage in this country every school to pledge to be net zero by 2030. And as part of making that pledge, that's about empowering their young people to do the plan, the action plan for their school as to how they might get to net zero in that quite aggressive timeline. And there's huge amounts of learning to be had around that. Huge amounts of learning, but that the individual contribution that all of us can make adds up to something more substantial that can give us hope in the future. I do some work with the international school chain Nord Anglia and the work that they're doing around the Sustainable Development Goals, the work that the world's largest lesson, one of the partners of the Global School Alliance, what they're doing around the SDGs and connecting people around the world is also inspirational to me. And in turn, that's developing the global citizenship, the global mindset that Joan and others have been talking about. So empowering young people so that they feel they've got things that they've got control over, that they feel hope, because that then in turn leads to action, I think is core to what all of us are here for. And then finally, I think having global partnership and connecting with each other and supporting each other is also about finding innovation. I've got a friend Andrea knows in Rochdale, who as a secondary head teacher was feeling that constraint of, oh, there's so much I came into this profession that I came into school leadership to try and do. And Ofsted, our school inspection service and the accountability system and everything else is just stopping me do what I came into this profession to do. What am I going to do about it? And he was sat at his desk as the head teacher and he looked at his keys to the school, big bunch of keys. Oh, actually, those rules apply to me only 5 days a week and only from about 8:30 in the morning till about 3:30 in the afternoon. And the rest of the time, this school, in his phrase, is my fiefdom. And he chose to do D6, day 6, which is voluntary schooling for the young people of his school who can choose to come in. He just has to open the doors and open the gates and let them in. He employs local sixth formers, 16 to 18-year-olds, pays them the minimum wage to come in and be there to help facilitate the learning of whatever young people want to come in and learn about. And what that has done for the outcomes, including the academic outcomes for his school, are transformational. Or I'm inspired by Nahid Bardai, who is the principal at Atlantic College out in West Wales, one of the United World Colleges. And I mean, the history of Atlantic is extraordinary. You know, they were one of the founders of the International Baccalaureate Organization, which has one of the best curriculums, I think, anywhere in the world and is taught all over the world. But they also invented the rigid inflatable boat that the Royal National Lifeboat Institute used to rescue people. And up until the 80s, their 16 and 17-year-olds were going out in boats rescuing people from the sea. But he took over recently and, we're not allowed to rescue people in the sea anymore because of health and safety. So what are we going to do to define ourselves? And what they've now chosen to do at Atlantic College, and they've got a dispensation from the International Baccalaureate so their kids can still get a diploma program when they do this, is look at the global system leadership challenges that the world faces. Connect with the alumni of Atlantic College and other experts and have those children learn for 2 years how to solve the world's problems. What a great thing for a truly diverse school to be able to teach their children to do. There's so much I can talk about in terms of inspiration. I now chair the Council of British International Schools. We brought those heads together in May, and they were saying, we've had enough of this curriculum. We've had enough of the narrowness of it. We have to equip our children globally to lead. And they charged me as the chair to try and lead an agenda for change around the world. There's lots to say, but I'll close off because my watch has vibrated to say, look, there's no more important a time for the Global School Alliance than this. This is a time of great change, as I've been saying. It's a time of division. And we should reject division and create empathy for each other. And it's through that celebration of our global diversity and that connection of children and teachers with each other that we can create the empathy and the understanding of each other to find the solutions that we need as a species to survive on a planet that is eternal. Thank you very much.
That was brilliant. Thank you. That was really brilliant. Thank you, Jim. That was really inspirational. Thank you. Jim spoke about the magic of partnership, the magic of connections, and certainly all of us at the Global School Alliance work with magicians every day. And we'd like to show you a fantastic example of the great work going on in many of our thousands of schools. The wonderful White House Common Primary School in the West Midlands has a long-term commitment to this work, and we're delighted that their international coordinator, Lisa Stevens, can be with us. So without further ado, over to White House Common Primary School.
Hello, my name's Lisa Stevens. White House Common Primary School has recently been awarded not just the International School Award from the British Council for the 4th or 5th time, but also the Global Schools Alliance Bronze and Silver Awards. At our school, we talk about how out of little acorns mighty oaks grow. Our children all aspire to be achievers. And our international work is key in enabling our children to be the citizens of our world that we want them to be, understanding that our world is diverse and that there are no outsiders. We do loads and loads of projects at school. This is built from our start in 2007 right up to the present day. We've been involved in an Erasmus Plus project over the last few years, all about our culture and valuing our heritage. We've sung songs, we've visited the countries, we've shared our cultures, we've shared our songs, our dances, our food. We've survived a COVID outbreak, which didn't break us, and it just we grew stronger, exchanging messages of hope and messages of how we're getting through this. We've grown our linguistic skills, both as adults and as children. We've celebrated all those things that we have discovered about ourselves and others. We've learned new pedagogical things. This is an example of one of them. And we've read books. We've celebrated our own diversity at school through food, through talking about festivals, through talking about Christmas and how our Turkish partners don't celebrate Christmas, which was really great for children at our school that also don't celebrate Christmas. We've looked at Little Amal visiting, and that's brought up issues about home and what home is and what it means to be a refugee. We talked about remembrance and how people around the world remember, and how people on both sides of wars remember. We've had video conferences, we've written letters, we've talked about our languages and our heritages as part of our school, and how our identity is defined by the languages we speak, by the people we meet, by the culture that we have and the cultures we encounter. Here's an example of a day when we spent thinking about this and things that meant words to us. We thought about our environment, and we've linked our language learning to our environment and celebrate. We talked about how our rights include our right to culture, our right to a language, our right to be the person that we want to be. We've taken part in workshops that have enabled children who don't speak languages to relate to children who do speak those languages. We've shown off the languages that we do speak as part of assemblies, and children that sometimes are a little bit reluctant to speak were brave enough to stand up in front of their peers and share, even if it was only a few words of the languages they spoke at home. And some have especially gone home and learned some. We've taken part in post-crossing and sent postcards around the world and received them back again. We've taken part in Global Schools Alliance projects, such as the Postcard Project. So we are part of the Global Schools Alliance. Here are three that make part in the presentations that we've done. Last year we were part of the Let's Make a Better World project. This year we're part of Fly With Me. We're joining in with the European Day of Languages competition, and I personally am a Global Schools Alliance ambassador. We're also involved in 3 e-twinning projects this year, which has been an absolute joy, and I'm hoping that that's going to work out really well. And my last thing I want to say to you is we believe that our common humanity is more important than all things that divide us, and that is central to why we think international work is so important. If you want to find out more about our school, we've written 2 articles on the Global Schools Alliance blog. The top one's written by me and the bottom one by my lovely head teacher, Fiona. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lisa, and a big thank you for all your support as an ambassador. Our ambassador network is something we're very proud of as well. Amazing, professional, committed, insightful colleagues who are based in schools across the globe, all of whom share that commitment to global activity. And we'd like you to introduce you to someone, a very special ambassador, Colette Cotton, who has been doing some fantastic work to support global work, not only across Kent, but globally as well. So without further ado, warm welcome to Colette Cotton, International Coordinator at St Mary's Primary Academy. Hello.
Sorry, taking a chair with me as I can. Right, thank you very much indeed for inviting me to be here. It's quite a privilege and it is wonderful to actually be somewhere where we've got real human beings. We haven't got somebody blanking themselves out when they live and get a coffee or to do something else. It is such a difference to have real people in front of us again. And let's hope we have many more of them in the future, because one learns so much more when you can actually interact with people. So thank you very much for that. John says I have done loads of, hello, we're starting with that, are we? That's the end.
That was the order I'm giving. Do you want to skip that one?
Yeah, that comes right at the end
Oh,
of my
yeah.
presentation. Otherwise I shall be in a tangle. No, just saying I have been doing international work ever since I started teaching, which was long before lots of you were even born. And as I was saying to Rob earlier, my very first experience was taking 100 children for a week over to France. These were East End London kids. We stayed in a youth hostel for a week and we had the maximum of 3 staff with us. We didn't lose anybody. We put them on the trains. They followed us around and they knew what to do if they got lost. We let them go in the sea, took them to restaurants. It was amazing. Didn't have any of the bureaucracy that you have now and that we have to come to terms with, which makes life so difficult. Right, so really lovely that just now we saw our partner, special partner, Fetty from Tunisia, talking to us all. This has been a relationship which has really evolved over the years. I was desperate to find a French-speaking school for us, having lost our one in Calais that we used to use every year when the teacher retired. So I put out a little tweet, any school wants to join with us, any French, fused faces, be wonderful. And I had a reply. So it started off very small. It has evolved over the years. It then went on to e-twinning. It then came on to Global Schools Alliance. We now have frequent video conferences with them. Betty came over to our school for 3 days in November. And the children just loved it. We've even planted a tree for him and it's got a name, Oak Tree for Tunisia. And they have got an olive tree for us growing over in their school as well. I know that also we've got not to forget Rob over at the back, we have got a rowan tree for Moldova. We've got lots of trees around that we've planted. But wonderful to have that. And then this summer, he'd come over here with 21 students and I met them in London for the day, which was really, really wonderful. But amazing man. And I learned a lot from his students. I said, what's their first language? Oh, well, Arabic at home, but obviously everything in French in school. And then by the time they're 9, 10, 11, they're doing English. I said, yes, well, I know I can speak French, but I can't understand what they're saying. So he said, no, he said, they're using Arabic and French and a bit of English all in the same sentence. And I thought, wow, how amazing is that? Incredible. So wonderful to work with him and through Global Alliance. And we also work a lot with the Sustainable Development Goals. Right, next one, please. Thank you. This is thanks to Global Schools Alliance that we now work with our partner school in Bangladesh. Didn't know much about Bangladesh before. I've learnt a lot. They have done some wonderful work for us. And of course, they're also part of the Commonwealth. So they had done a whole lot of Commonwealth flags. We had done some as well. And we have shared a lot of projects. We've looked at the diversity of each of our schools, the things that are the same. Loads of collaboration going on, making the children think critically, our children couldn't get over the lovely way they'd painted their school on the outside to make it more interesting. They said, well, ours is a bit boring after theirs, isn't it? Because a lot of the Asian schools seem to put paintings everywhere. And then I know one that I went to in Malaysia, as they walked up the steps outside, you've got your times table on each of the steps. That's a great way to learn. Why don't we do things like that? Right, next one, thank you. Right, we have been working with this school in India since about 2012-13. It started off on a project I was doing with 70 countries around the world, the Barefoot Billion. And it has grown since then. They came over to visit us in, I think it must have been 2016. I went over there to visit the school 2018. And we worked together on sustainable development goals, but we have now got them teaching our year 2 children every year their dance session in the curriculum. It's Indian other countries dance. So they're wonderful dance teachers. And the dance studio in their school is out of this world when I went to it. They have 2 or 3 of the dance teachers who actually teach our children. And I'm really impressed with the way it is all done so numerically. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you're doing. Year 2s absolutely love it. And they also have a few of their students, obviously, in the national costume. So this is our little year 2s trying to copy what's being done on Zoom. So we have a couple of lessons every in term 2 usually, which goes down really well. We also learn how to find out about Hindu. Our year 4s have to do Hinduism in the curriculum. So we get them to tell us about it, what they have there. And they also do Sikhism at the school because it's about a third Sikhism because they're up in the Punjab. So they've got both in the school. So a great way of learning RE, because I know some countries it's not possible to teach it. It's kind of a taboo subject, but they're quite happy to talk about it. Thank you. Right, this is one we did a few years ago, asking the teachers where lots of those were on the world map. Azerbaijan, where's that? Georgia, you sure that's a Georgian flag? They had no idea where they all were, these countries. Well, unfortunately, they've been in the news for the wrong reasons recently, which is a shame. But it's a part of Europe that the UK were beginning to get to know before we had something called Brexit that came along. But we did super work with them, but I had the fortune of meeting the teachers from those countries. So it was interesting. The teacher we had from, gosh, I think Manan, she must have been from Azerbaijan, because I was on a conference before there where we've got teachers from all around the world, and she couldn't understand the English, but she could speak Russian. So we had someone translating the English into Russian so she could understand. And I've always kept in contact with her from Azerbaijan. Went out to Turkey and met a teacher from Georgia at another conference, went out myself to Czech Republic, to schools out there. So these are all contacts which I'm still using because they're reliable and they want to do it. And it is so important to keep in contact with all of them. Next one, please. Right, now, this one, I put it on because my year 5s could not believe that children in a classroom like that knew how to do an X and Y axis. How do they know how to do that? I said, well, they'll have only had one piece of paper. And I said, well, they weren't allowed to make a mistake. That's all they had. And what I liked about the project, it was suggested by the teacher, the name of the school, it's Daegu School, which is up near Lake Navisha in Kenya that I've been to. And I kind of think that over in this country, we are too keen on saying, it'd be nice to do a project on something. Why don't we ask the teachers in those countries to suggest a project to do? So they thought it would be nice to have one about pets and animals. Well, our children couldn't believe this. They have dogs to keep thieves out. Why have they locked doors? They couldn't understand that. And there was another one actually, and they liked the cat because it was good at keeping the rats and the snakes away. And the rabbits were a real favourite because they were good to eat. So it was a huge cultural thing as well. And also the type of animal they had at home. They had cows and sheep. Well, ours had these kind of Komodo dragons and stick insects and things like that, and their cats. But they didn't have things for this reason. So that was a wonderful project to do, and it really had a huge impact on my class. They said, well, if they can do that, we'll have to try and do even better. We said, I think they're quite good at their drawing. So we had a little kind of extra input into that. Thank you. Do the World Weather Watch every year, and it has grown. I've been doing it since 2010, and we always do it in World International Week, well, International Week in the UK as such. And it has evolved like everything else. So last year, we actually got children to incorporate something about climate change, and every country could manage it. And I also like to use on the cover of the book, because I've got an online book as well as a printed book. This one is from our partner from Wufu School out in Taiwan. And our kids can't get over that they can actually write in two ways. I think everybody must be magical. Could you just click that for a minute and we'll just look at the first two, please? Hopefully the link will come up. Yes, I don't know if anybody else uses FlipSnap. It's really good for online books, and it means that everybody around the world that's participating can actually see what's happening, and you get your first 3 books free. So that's all right. Yes, if you could turn it at full screen just for a minute, just so we can go into the next page. Thank you, and can you click it? Right. Those last year didn't have quite as many countries participating, but those were the ones that we were using. All right, so we got the Ukraine in, which was great. Yes, so I wonder which countries have you had? Who works with anybody from Ukraine? Yes, I know here. England, nobody from Tunisia, but we've talked to the school that Fetty was talking to us. No one from Taiwan, New Zealand, Moldova. Yes, they were working with us, you see. I haven't got anybody from Malaysia here, have I? No, Lebanon? Oh, yes, Malaysia, hello. Right, Jamaica. Yes, hello. Oh, there we are, you see. Look at all these countries here. India. No. Right, France. Bangladesh. No. Right, if I just look at the next page, because I'm aware of the time. This is how we did it. So this was the work sent in from the GSA school that started our work with Bangladesh for us. And something you might not have known, they have 6 seasons in a year. Yes, there we are. I didn't know that before. So they have 6 seasons, we learned, and also their squiggly writing that we like. But they had climate change with terrible, terrible disasters, flooding and everything else. But these were the children doing the work. And if you go to the next page, you can see what the results were. Because we've now got 3 pages, I've had to put 2. So this is, everybody has the same template. And we've then got the weather recorded for each one. And we try to get everybody to do it at midday in their country. So you've got a constant going through. So I've got records going back to 2010 of this, which is quite interesting. So it's something else that has evolved over the years. Thank you for that. We'll click out of it. Yeah, go back to the PowerPoint. Right, lovely. And then you might have to click again to go to the next one. Yes. I did a research project which was published last year, exploring a multi-country partnership through a zero waste project. had to try and choose different continents, diverse countries. So I had a school from Taiwan, school from the Philippines, school from India, school from Jordan, and the UK. Chose those schools, and also because I knew that the schools I was working with, the teachers were really reliable and had done lots of projects with us. It was amazing. I'm just going next one, please. Can't read all that now, but the teachers were full of it. I just like this. The students were all excited about the projects. They liked sharing ideas. They were working collaboratively. It helped them to understand other cultures, new ideas, new perspectives, and also new friends for teachers and students. We sometimes forget about the teachers making new friends, tend to think of the children all the time, but you can learn a lot educationally from other educators. Right, next one, please. These were just some of the projects that had been done. So Malaysia, they had used all bottle tops and put letters on so their kindergarten could make words using those. Beautiful use of bottle tops from Jordan. That work is now illustrating up the stairs. We had a zero waste from Taiwan. They were putting posters everywhere. Anybody know what that is? We used to use them a few years ago and they were silver. Take a trolley tokens. No, CDs. There we are. So you've got a fantastic reuse of CDs. I've now been given 2 of those and they hang on my Christmas tree and they look lovely. Really great. Yes, amazing, isn't it? CDs, never thought about it. They've also created a green wall out of plastic bottles, our school there, which has now grown more and more. The last pictures I saw from there. And we were collecting crisp packets, which were then being recycled for the local air ambulance. But we're not allowed to do that since COVID because of health and safety and germs coming into schools. All right, so that's how we progress. Next one, please. Right, just had to put those in. This is a student from India. Can you read it at the back or shall I read it for you? In case you can't, a student in India gives her reasons for global learning. Working with students in other countries, I learned that there is no problem in the world that cannot be solved by cooperation, peace and love. We shared facts, methods and ideas and realised that we students can contribute so much to solving this problem. Not mine, that was from a 14-year-old in India. And a teacher from Malaysia. New friends are made for staff as well as pupils. Worthwhile partnerships can be set up with the benefits of opening up a range of new languages and diverse cultures for pupils to encounter. So really important that teachers feel that they're growing in knowledge as well, because none of us are too old to learn. And as I must be the oldest in here, I can kind of say that. Thank you. Next one, please. Right, just some of the ways we collaborate at St Mary's. 2021, Tom, when you first started doing all about the SDGs, there was a competition and one of our special needs kids was delighted because her artwork was chosen. She's now second year secondary and still really keen on international work and really remembers that. It was a very, very special day for her to get that because she was challenging, I shall say. We're allowed to say that, I think. So we communicate through Twitter, Facebook, online meetings, and as much as possible face-to-face. We've had teachers from Iran, all over the world coming into school, which has been brilliant. Right, thank you. Next one. Right. I've got a group of global counsellors. I have 2 from each year group, so I have 24 children that come in to me each week in 3 sessions. And they've loved using lots of the GSA projects. They really have. The children basically aren't the bright ones. They're the ones that are very quiet at the back of the class that everybody forgets, or the ones that have got some kind of additional need and would work better in a small group. So these are the type of children we've got. Our head teacher is new to the school. She only started in September, didn't know anything about international work before I met her at the end of the summer term, is very impressed, and she was very happy to go ahead and do a short video for us, which I thought was very good. I gave her a few ideas. She knew we'd just been given the British Council's International School Award for the 7th consecutive time. So she's now trying to get her head around the Global School Alliance. And poor lady, I'm just kind of flooding her with information. So if you'd like to click on that, hopefully you'll get through to the film after this one. Oh no, you have to go back to the film now, wherever you've gotten it. I think John's done it. Was a link there, but if you've got it somewhere else. And the film the children have made, they literally had one take each, and I've used 5-year-olds up to the 11-year-olds. But we did have a laugh when they were doing the film. One of the children said, "What have I got to say?" So we had to stop, recut. What was it? Oh, it was so funny. Have you found it?
Maybe tech support would be good.
Yeah, well, it's the full screen actually.
It's there, so I saw it at the very beginning. Oh, here comes your techie tab. Yes.
A nice hiatus. We're very proud to announce and delighted that Colette and I will be visiting Moldova next year. Well, thank you for the invitation.
Yes, fantastic.
So we look forward to that bit,
Thanks,
don't we?
Yes, yes.
And Colette, you've officially entered legendary status. That was absolutely brilliant.
This is our new head teacher.
Hi, so my name's Amanda and I'm the new head teacher at this lovely school at St Mary's, and it's been a real honour for me to get to know Colette. One of the wonderful things that's going on in our school is the work that goes on with our children. We think that these partnerships with the 10 schools that we work with are incredibly important. As Helen Keller herself said, alone we can do little, but together we can do much. And because of the strong partnerships we have, we found that the children are exposed to an enriched curriculum where it influences their well-being, it has an impact on their academic success, it increases their tolerance for other people, and it just makes them more aware globally of their importance as citizens in this world. I'd just like to say a thank you to all the children that have worked really hard for this. And we're going to show you a little bit of some of the projects they've been working on.
In year 2, we were learning about zero hunger, SDG 2. In one of the GSA primary council meetings, we talked about our school dinners and showed some pictures. I really enjoyed talking to other children from across the world and finding out what they have for dinner. The dinner in Moldova looks yummy. Our school and each of us got a certificate for taking part in this webinar with other schools around the world. Let's make a better world.
I like that we can see what people are doing in the Global Council around the world and all different things they're making for the project Let's Make a Better World.
I like that we can see what different countries are doing for Let's Make a Better World project, and I like that we can make things for SDG 14 like below water. I liked that because we based it on 3 sea creatures. 1, a turtle called Duffy, 2, a whale called Nelson, and 3, my favourite, a puffin called Marley.
Books help make a better world for other people. I'll work on Let's Make a Better World. I remember going to Stan's Dam and seeing rubbish everywhere. We gathered it up into one big pile and looked for a rubbish bin. What could I offer? SPP 14 is really important. There is no planet B. This is our universe. We take part in World Weather Watch every year in November. During one of our Zoom meetings, our Tunisian friends told us about the terrible forest fires they had. Heritage School in Moldova described how after the hot weather they had floods. We decided we wouldn't want to live in Ukraine where it's very cold, or India, or Bangladesh where they have raging floods in the monsoon season every year. I love learning about the Chinese New Year from our public schools in Taiwan and Malaysia. This year is the year of the rabbit. We had fun trying to use chopsticks. We started trying to pick up bean shoots, which was what they did in Taiwan. I tried doing some Chinese rap. The pupils in Wufu School in Taiwan also write in Chinese. SPG for 187. This is Zoro, our adopted orangutan from the rainforest of Borneo, who is now 4 years old. He was found all alone at the side of the road by a palm oil plantation when he was only 3 months old and is now being looked after at the Cephalok Rehabilitation Centre. We love finding out about Zoro and other endangered species across planet Earth. Vision School is our partner in Malaysia and is only 30 minutes to drive from the Orangutan Centre and frequently visitors it. We will be asking each other questions on the Global School Alliance about the problems of deforestation linked to SDG 13 climate change. Everybody should follow SDG 17 Partnership for the Goals. We hope you have enjoyed listening to the global work at St. Mary's. Thank you for listening.
Brilliant. You are a legend, Colette. Thank you so much. That is absolutely brilliant. Fantastic work. And when we talk about the power of partnerships, this is the power. That authentic way to bring young people together to really share and celebrate some great teaching and learning. Okay, before we go any further, I'd just like to say a big thank you to the wonderful Anna Azarova. Anna's joining us from the British International School in Ukraine. So our heart is with you, Anna. And thanks for all the brilliant work you do there. Okay, without further ado, we are now having a message of support from Baroness Janet Royal, Principal of Somerville College in Oxford.
Good morning. I'm so sorry that I cannot be with you today in person at the Kingsford Community School, but I know that today's audience will be beaming in from far and wide. I'm coming to you from Somerville College, Oxford, which was founded in 1879 to include the excluded, who at the time were women. But now this extends to any young person whom societal pressures or prejudice would exclude. 2 years ago, we became a College of Sanctuary, and this year we have 8 Sanctuary scholars from various countries. Good morning. I'm so sorry that I cannot be with you today in person at the Kingsford Community School, but I know that today's audience will be beaming in from far and wide. I'm coming to you from Somerville College, Oxford, which was founded in 1879 to include the excluded, who at the time were women, but now this extends to any young person whom societal pressures or prejudice would exclude. 2 years ago, we became a College of Sanctuary, and this year we have 8 Sanctuary scholars from various countries, including Afghanistan and Ukraine. I begin with a thank you to all teachers participating in this important conference. In too many countries, we do not support teachers as we should. We don't hold them in the regard that they deserve. I know that it's not easy being a teacher. Your responsibilities are great, and too often we forget the impact of your tireless work. You do so much more than impart knowledge. You transform lives, you inspire, you nurture aspirations, and you put your pupils on the ladder of opportunity. Yes, passing exams is important, but education is so much more. In each country, there will be specific challenges. Those of you from the UK will probably be facing particular problems in relation to resources and the impact of COVID on the mental well-being of our children. Some schools are flourishing in fragile states, and extraordinarily, the British School in war-torn Ukraine is still providing an excellent education. But you all share the same passion to ensure that our children have the advantage of an education that will make them citizens of the world, exposing them to different cultures, nurturing their understanding of difference, and celebrating diversity. I too share your passion and your belief that connection between the people of our world is a tool for peace. I studied languages. Much of my career was focused on the European Union and global politics. My family lived in Brussels for 10 years. My 3 children went to a European school and did the European Baccalaureate, and my granddaughter now goes to an international school. I'm very fond of quoting E.M. Foster's novel, Howard's End. Only connect your prose and the passion. Live in fragments no longer. You are connecting the passion for internationalism with the prose of education, and that has the power to transform. The great Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Goodness knows we're desperate for change. Our unstable world is fraught with problems. We have war in Ukraine, a war in Sudan, fragile states, autocracies and dictatorships, gender apartheid, the abuse of human rights, the march of populism, the democratic backsliding, and the undermining of international law. It all sounds horribly depressing, but with education, we have the capacity, the tools to meet so many of the challenges, and we must. The most pressing problem is climate change, which has devastating consequences, including on mass migration. These, like many other major challenges, are global problems, and they cannot be met by individual nations. They can only be solved by global leaders working together with the support of the people that they represent. Our globalized world has become more fractured, and there's an increasing tendency for tolerance and understanding to be replaced by fear of the other. Our world and our people are too precious to live in fragments. To thrive, we have to foster collaboration. We have to be a force for peace. That's why the work of the Global Schools Alliance is so crucial, encouraging and enabling the partnerships which have the power to bring about change. The relationships which you develop and support will shape the way in which your pupils think and act. Your young people will one day be future leaders in their communities, perhaps in their countries, but through your collaborations, you will also be informing and influencing wider society. Teachers, parents, carers, friends, and everyone who comes into contact with your school. You are breaking down barriers, broadening horizons, and giving young people the tools to be resilient and succeed in a difficult world. I know that where possible, you encourage face-to-face engagement for teachers and students, and there are some brilliant examples of students being hosted by schools in other countries. I love the article on your website, swapping inner city UK for the natural beauty of Iceland. And in the summer, I was delighted to meet with pupils from the Heritage School in Moldova when they were in the UK, having first met them in Moldova. But of course, I realised that time and money are at a premium. So thank goodness for Zoom, Teams, and the other methods of communication that we've become used to thanks to the pandemic. Perhaps the one good thing to have come out of the scourge of COVID. I'll end where I started. with thanks for all the brilliant work that you do as a global alliance, as partners between individual schools or groups of schools, and perhaps most importantly of all, as leaders and educators in your schools and communities. Society must never underestimate or undervalue your work, your contribution to the world of today and the world of tomorrow. You not only provide ladders from deprivation to opportunity, you transform the lives of young people, who in turn will transform the lives of others, as well as the societies and countries in which they live. You are a force for peace. It's been great being with you this morning. Thank you so much for your time. I understand that the 5th of October is World Teachers' Day. May you celebrate well and have a great conference.
And our very best wishes to Baroness Royal. Now, all the videos will be hosted on our Global School Alliance website, so you can download and watch again from there. Colette mentioned the student councils, and something we're very proud of at the Global School Alliance are our student councils for both primary and secondary young people. And we'd like to tell you more, particularly about our secondary school council from the wonderful Heritage International School.
Hello everyone, I am Sabrina, this year's Global School Alliance Student Council President, a community of dedicated students from all around the world. Day by day, we work together to ensure a thriving society where everyone feels safe and heard. Join our community to discover the true meaning of collaboration, integrity, creativity, diversity. Hello.
And it's great, Sabina is now president of the Second Student Council. So without further ado, the director and CEO of the amazing Heritage International School is joining us tonight. Over to the wonderful Rob Ford. Good to see you, Rob.
I'm really conscious of time, so I apologise. I'm not going to take up too long because it is night time, as John said. Can I just say thank you so much for Kingsford School, Joan, your staff, everybody, Father Fred, you've looked after us so well today, and to be hosted in a school with real people, as Colette said, and real students. Joan, your students are a privilege to see and to listen to, and they're a credit to this school and this community. And if anyone didn't know why we have schools and education and brilliant school teachers and support staff and school leaders, just walk around these halls and see how these young people are. And Lord Knight talks about hope, and so does Baroness Royal, and all of us do, because that's why we're in education. And you see the hope in these young people. Yeah, there's tons of challenges facing us. The world looks pretty scary. I say that as a father and as an educator, but we have heard this evening some incredible stories from teachers, from schools in the UK, around the world, all of them not getting dragged down by the idea that it is a nihilistic and a nasty future, but actually what we do together can make a huge difference. As Baroness Royal said, transform lives, create the leaders. Jim talked about UWC. Well, the great Kurt Hahn, founder of the International Baccalaureate, said, if you don't have the leaders now, create the leaders you need. And we do that through our values. We do that through social responsibility, through leadership, through respect, through being able to live in a diverse world, being internationally minded, being open-minded, being able to sort of embrace all faiths and ethnicities and cultures and see the glory and the joy in this multicultural globe and society that we live in. My own background is from a coal mining background. My father was a coal miner. He worked underground for 40 years and gave his sunlight up just so his kids could have education. I was the first of my family to go to university. We always had the idea that the world was a wider place, and it was a place to kind of go and explore. We had that in our school, we had that in our language lessons, we had that in our school visits. I remember a trip to Berlin before the wall came down that absolutely blew my mind. We were there when the wall came down, which probably led to my love affair with Eastern Europe. And I was really pleased to go into teaching and work in schools where great school leaders, because we're talking about leadership in all sort of aspects of education, they showed that school isn't just about the qualifications. Yes, we do need the qualifications. I can't stand here and say we don't, but it's much more than that. And when you look at the great schools, it's about holistic education. It's educating for life. It isn't about passing the next test or the next sort of stick to jump over or the next barrier to sort of surmount. It is actually creating who we're going to pass the baton of the torch on to. Now, I've been really privileged. This is nearly 30 years in education and worked with some great schools in the UK and around the world. I've been a school leader for nearly 10 years in 3 different schools. I had a great school on the Welsh-English border, the Harry Potter School, as some of you know, at Dumbledore's office, but unfortunately I couldn't find the magic to also find the extra funding that we sometimes needed. But it was a wonderful school community, and a part of the Forest Dean, which is how I developed my relationship with Baroness Royal, because a girl from the Forest Dean in Jan Royal wanted to make sure students got access to Oxford and Cambridge. And my students from the Forest Dean had Malala take them round for one of their tours around Oxford. And I know from all of those students that a moment of meeting this world figure has lived with them ever since. And Jan Royal's continued to support education, and she came out to Moldova at a really critical time to meet with the government, to meet with local universities, to show her presence, to show that UK PLC, we had this conversation upstairs earlier, in education is still an amazing force for good in this world. And sometimes we're kind of worried about how we are seen in the world because of the last few years and because of some of the nonsense that we see in the headlines. And actually, there are still many, many good things that we can be proud of. And we can be very proud of what we do with international education. And when I went to Moldova 4.5 years ago, it was the challenge of my life to go and establish the first international school in a country that really did need support in this kind of post-Soviet environment. Well, the world's changed so much since 2019, not just with COVID, but with the war on our doorstep. I always feel a fraud when I speak in the same room as Anna, because what Anna's school has done in this incredible climate of war in our continent in 2023, 2022, and possibly into next year as well, and beyond, unfortunately. They've used the certainty and the hope of education to give people a real future. And if ever you want to be humbled, talk to Anna, talk to Anna's school. We're both fellow COBIS schools, an incredible British organisation that helps bring us together because we're better. Someone quoted Helen Keller, we're better together when we work together, we collaborate and we share, and we don't get fearful and we don't get competitive. And I think the pendulum is swinging back. Jim again talked about an election in the next year, and we know that things don't stay the same forever. And we don't need to be able to just say, this is how it is. We've got to give our kids the tools to actually go out there and make a better world. I worked with Joan with the British Council, and I was so inspired what Joan did with Kingsford when we were in the British Council in Spring Gardens and those conversations. If you don't understand leadership in education, you don't understand that teachers and schools and support staff and communities of parents can change things, and starting with the micro changes, then you need to come to schools like this. It's been an honour to come here today, Joan, and it's been a real privilege to talk to people like Eric and colleagues upstairs. Juan, we had a really, and sometimes it's the pre-conference conversations that you have that are sometimes the most important. And we've all shared, and we'll share, even if where's Mina, our digital business cards and everything else. But we keep these conversations going. We are really fortunate that the Global School Alliance, Tom and Tony and John and Hannah and others are bringing this together, are being a hub for us. So we're not isolated. And in the beauty of international education, we're never isolated because there's always a school down the road to talk to, or a school in another country. And there's always somebody willing to show a partnership or a project and find a way of making a wet Wednesday afternoon a lot more interesting, as I did as a young history teacher all those years ago when I first started working with technology and Russia and Germany and other countries, and wanted to show my students something more than just abstract education in a dull old textbook. I'm going to move on because I think, Tom, you're kind of closer. Thank you, everybody. And it's just so nice to be back in the conference again, being able to talk to one another and share ideas and hug and shake hands. And I think that human spirit and what we're doing in education, which is about our humanity, we keep going. We need to. We owe it not just to our students, to our families, but this is why we're doing this job. And even though some of us think this job is hard sometimes, we need to keep going. Okay, it's as simple as that. Thank you.
You're very brilliant, Robert. Thanks for your support. Without further ado, as Bob said, delighted to introduce my boss, the founder and CEO of the Global School Alliance, Thomas Camilleri.
Thank you, sir. Okay, guys, start off by saying huge thank you for all of you for making the effort down to very sunny London. We drove down from Liverpool, also known as the North, famous for not being very sunny, but it was an awesome mission down to Seawall. It's always peculiar coming up and speaking in front of an international room of educators, because the stories that make up all of the people in the room are so diverse, and we all kind of are drawn to this central mission, this feeling, this sense of kind of purpose and direction, which from my point of view, in the work that we do now at the GSA, it harks back to reliving an experience, or reliving a memory that I had from my education career, which was effectively in primary school, being a little person who was a little bit overly obsessed with Asian culture. First aspiration, I want to be a ninja, then it was Batman. And then that led me to my secondary school education. Again, College Grange Grammar up in the world, just outside Liverpool. They were a Confucius classroom. I have a lot of time, a lot of love, and a little bit of an outpouring online when a certain PM was talking about the Confucius Institute and all that jazz. We weren't doing to bring that up, but I owe a lot to my head teacher, to my head MFL, to my Chinese teacher, who was a complete loon, and I love her to pieces. She put up with a very energetic, as you can imagine, a very energetic young student in myself. And that, again, stumbling into a school that offered 8 different languages, being able to learn French and Mandarin. And actually it was a trip at the age of 14. So let me paint you a picture. All boys school, 20 young lads, 3 weeks away in Yunnan province in China. It was a very structured, doing lessons during the day, looked after, being hosted by university students. And it didn't hurt that they were all, attractive young females who were there to look after us. And, it was daytime, very structured, very organized, but then it was the evening. It was, let's just sneak out for half an hour, 40 minutes. The stuff, as Jim was talking about before, maybe not gutters, but the space in between the pictures, that was where the absolute magic was allowed to thrive. And I think the way I see our role in this global picture of education isn't for us to dictate any particular way of doing anything, but it's for us to create a space, to create an opportunity to bring all you awesome people together, whether it be online, ideally in person. Going out for a beer with somebody online doesn't really have the same sort of experience. We talk about face-to-face engagement and then interaction. It's really, when you're in person, it's more of a heart-to-heart engagement that gives you that lasting impression. And that school trip for me, the biggest gift actually that I received from going to school in the UK wasn't anything really that I learned. It was more the ability to be given a sense of purpose and direction at the age of 15. So I have lots of friends that are ripe old ages that still don't really know what they want to do. I knew, maybe not what it was, but where it was. So from the age of 15 onwards, my journey has been to China. Again, very, very fortunate. First, I need a medal or a badge or something to really support this claim. But apparently I was one of, if not the earliest Brit to do A-level through the Confucius classroom. Me and Timmy Chan finished school at 18. And again, kudos to my parents. Now that I'm a parent to 2 little ones, the idea of sending my son to China at 18 and be like, cool, see you later, son, is an odd concept. But again, it was the opportunity, but also the rolling of the dice to go right at 18, moved to China, lived there for 400 years, worked in all different levels of education. And that experience wasn't special for my professional development as much as my personal, my character. And one of the biggest impacts it had for me was I actually ended up losing my father to cancer 300 years into it. And the kind of family structure and being the oldest son of little brothers and sisters, like the obvious thing that was imbued in me when I was over there was, of course, you've got to go home. Of course, it's family time. And actually the coming back to England and the missing of that connection, the fact that I knew my heart, I wanted to be there, but I also needed to be here. That really created the GSA. And that was, 12 odd years ago. And so the first decade of kind of like my desire to reconnect, to rebuild these relationships is kind of spilled over into, okay, well, practically, how do we do this thing? Like, I can't do it on my own. That's why we build a team. You guys, we're in the room together because we all have an inkling that there's something more to do. But I think we all know inherently that you can't do any of that on your own. And so building these networks, building these partnerships, and getting really clear as best as possible where we all want to go with this. Both thrilling, exciting, pain in the backside. And I see our role in this ongoing adventure as bringing you guys together, spending time, energy, and money on building the tools. So we're undergoing, you have to bear with us, we're undergoing development with the platform. So the next 18 to 24 months, there will be dramatic changes that you can see online. And our kind of direction as a team and our energy and our passion is really reverse engineering. How do I find 15-year-old Tom out in the world? How can I recreate these opportunities? And the guys that are joining either the central team, the GSA, or the expanded team through our ambassadors and consultants, and effectively all you awesome people. For me, it's how do I find 15-year-old Tom? How do I give him, support you guys to give him the same opportunities that I had? And so, I'm going to end with a little bit of a promise that I know I'm still committed to this for the next 10, 20 years. And what I hope that we are able to do at the GSA is to build the best opportunities and the best tools for you guys to go and help some of these younger people. And as it's been alluded to a number of times today, like, you guys are the beacons, you guys are the lighthouses. It is for all of us to find our own passion, help illuminate and inspire the next generation. And we all have to have a couple of screws slightly unhinged to be doing this sort of work with this sort of passion. But I do really applaud all of you. And so again, thank you all so very much for turning up. To you guys online, thank you very much as well. And I really do hope to see you all around the rest of the world for the many years to come. So again, thanks so much.
Oh, that was really fantastic. And as we said at the outset, we are about celebrating great schools and acknowledging the fantastic commitment from the amazing educators we work with. And there is a school pretty close to us today, a certain Kingsford Community School, that we are delighted to recognise with our Global School Award. So if Joan could come up and collect her award. A fantastic inspirational head teacher.
Thank you. Pupils and staff and myself, we're all absolutely delighted. Thank you very much, Global School Alliance.
Thank you, Jane. And as we said at the beginning as well, you are the most important people in the world. It's absolutely wonderful, and I speak on behalf of all of the Global School Alliance, to work with the most important people in the world. So just to say a big thank you to everyone at Kingsford, to Joan, to Leo, to our wonderful schools joining us from overseas, to wonderful Eric. It's not only World Teachers' Day on Wednesday, but a certain birthday. Happy birthday, Eric. The wonderful Home Grange, thank you, Larissa. Thank you, Jim. It was fantastic to have you with us. To wonderful Lisa and everyone at White House Common. To the wonderful Colette, thank you for all you do. To our friends, Baroness Janet Royal, that was inspiring. To the wonderful Heritage International School, the wonderful Rob Ford. And thank you, Tom, for your personal vision and your commitment to this work. Okay, so without further ado, thank you for joining us. Thank you to our online audience. We'd be delighted if you could stay and partake of some refreshment with us. But just to say, let's stay in touch. Let's stay in touch. Absolutely, food and refreshment. Do join us and do join us at the Global School Alliance. Thank you, everyone.